why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent life.
How's it going, guys? So I'm gonna be playing a couple of Here's the Storm tips and tricks videos here. I have not seen these yet. Like I said before, I'm working on improving at Here's the Storm. This is the first time I've really started playing ranked in Here's the Storm. Usually I just log on, play some quick matches. I've been doing that for like 3 years though. I'm gonna watch a couple of tips and tricks videos here. I've already been working on my stutter stepping, as well as redoing my key bindings to get better at it. So let's watch. This is by Tempo Storm, one of the Heroes of the Storm league teams. This one is the importance of mercenaries on the Volskaya Foundry and how to use them. So.
Hey, what's up guys, Tempo Cattle here. Today I'm just going to do a short little guide on Volskaya industry, specifically the mercenary camps, which I think are pretty much the most important part of the map. And it's all about the mercenary camps when it comes to winning this map. Number one thing that a lot of people don't realize at this point is the merc camps actually give more experience than a kill at most stages of the game, unless you're starting to really fall behind. Early game, the turret camp is essentially worth to a kill. And the health camp is actually worth more than a kill, almost 2 full kills.
Damn.
So if you're trading and you end up getting a 5v4 here maybe,
Holy
and
shit.
you get the merc camp but someone dies while you do it,
Sorry,
you
guys.
still get the objective, it's actually a positive trade for you because now you have a biotic emitter and you actually got more experience by getting the camp than they got from getting the kill. So just remember that. Whenever you're not doing the merc camp, you're basically giving up a free kill or more. So once that timer hits 1 minute, you or someone on your team better get over to that turret camp and take it as fast as possible.
Wow.
Just so that you don't fall behind, because the sooner you do the turret, the sooner it spawns again, the more experience you get, the more free kills you get, the more chance of winning you have.
I did not know that.
The next big thing about the turrets is you gotta know how to place them. My biggest pet peeve on this map is seeing people just place the turrets in places that don't make sense. And
Yep.
all I can say is really think about what you're trying to accomplish with the turret placement. You want to make sure that it's doing damage as long as possible and pretty much the entire time. It lasts for a full 40 seconds, so you want to get as much DPS out of it as possible. Let's say the other team is in control of this point right now, and we're trying to push in, and I'm coming from our camp, and I go over here, and I slap my turret down. It doesn't actually cover half of the shrine, so now the enemy team just says, okay, well, we're just going to kite back to here. They wasted their turret, and now we have a turret on them. So next time when they come to recap and they push on and they place their turret correctly, you can't win the fight anymore, just because of how powerful these camps are. So make sure that when you get a camp, you're placing it somewhere that makes sense. We want to make sure that if they're in control, we wait to place the turret until it's actually going to do damage. So we've pushed all the way up and we place it, now it covers basically the whole shrine compared to doing basically nothing by being placed defensively.
Gotcha.
Same thing goes for when you have control of the shrine and they're pushing on. Let's say this is our point right now and the other team is pushing in and I place my turret all the way up here and they kill it immediately. Turret's wasted. Yeah, you want to hold on to your item as long as you can.
True.
So we wait until they're pushed in all the way, place it here where it actually does something and they can't push us off. I know it's just like small random examples, but really when you're placing your turret, think about what is it really achieving by placing it here, and could I wait longer to place it or could I put it somewhere better? Because if you manage to cap the objective without having to use the turret, guess what? Now you have an extra turret for the next objective. And if you save it again, you have another extra turret. And that's how you see those games where when we play the map as a team, we end up having 4 turrets, which means we basically can't lose a fight because, let's be honest, the turrets are insanely strong. They're almost a hero. If you have 4 of them down, you're basically fighting like a 7v5, and it's really, really hard to lose. So just really put thought into where you're placing your turrets and make sure it's able to do damage effectively as long as possible.
It's a good tip.
The health camp it's a little more straightforward. You just want to make sure that your team is able to heal from it and they can't kill it easily. So something I like to do, if we're in control of the point and we're just kind of trying to regen, you place it over the wall where your tank can really gain value from it. Or just literally wherever you want to put it is okay. The health camp is less important for the health, honestly, than it is for the experience you get, just because it gives such an insane amount. So yeah, that's about it. I just really want to stress on this map that mercenary camps are what lead you to win the game. I can't even
Alright.
remember how many 4 or 5 level leads I've had on this map at a GM level in all GM games, because one team decides that doing the turrets isn't worth their time, and I decide I'm gonna do the turret, and suddenly half a level up already. Then we get another turret later. Then we get a health camp later, and suddenly it's a 3, 4, 5 level lead with the tree glove.
Damn.
So just really gotta draft heroes on this map that can do the camp. Make sure you're communicating to your team to help you do it if you can't do it alone. Or just really, use chat, use comms, make sure someone's doing it. And I guarantee you'll see a lot more success on this map, and you'll start doing a lot better and just get a better grasp on it. That's all for today. I'll try to go over some different tree glove strats. And
Cool. That is actually some really good tips. I main as specialists. I love playing specialists, so I frequently grab camps and stuff. I honestly think camps are the key to success on a lot of maps, especially if your team isn't doing well at sticking together, doing well at team fights. If you can get some camps pushing and force the other team to split and have to address those camps, you guys are way better off. So hearing that these are worth a shit ton of XP on this map and that they respawn so quickly, because I haven't even paid attention to how quickly they respawn. I just know I grab them when the objective's up. So those are actually some good tips. I'm gonna put those to use. See this next one here. It's how to take advantage of custom hotkey settings in Heroes of the Storm. I recently just redid my hotkey settings, so I'm interested to see what tips and tricks they have for this.
It's Temple Garin here. I just wanted to take some time today to share with you guys the importance of hotkey shortcuts for certain defensive abilities. One thing I like to do, it's a huge lifesaver in competitive play, is regardless of what hero I'm on, the most defensive ability I have, which on Medivh it would be self-protect, I have rebound to F. I think this is really useful for the situations in where you're watching multiple things in a team fight, and you really just gotta activate your defensive with the quickest response time possible. So on Medivh, I've rebounded that to F for self-protect, and all sorts of heroes have certain things that you can rebind defensively. Arthas, for example, in my Arthas hotkey, I have Icebound Fortitude rebound to F, and Alt Q rebound to G. So, for example, it's really easy for me to self-heal on Arthas and use his defensives. Just like on Medivh, I'm able to use my defensives with the different hotkeys set up. And it doesn't take too long, but essentially I try to make a hotkey profile page for every hero. And some heroes, there's no hotkey changes whatsoever.
So I've
just
thought
gives me
about
peace of mind knowing
doing that.
the hero I'm on, I have the proper hotkey.
I've actually thought about making a profile for each hero. I have one for Tracer that's helped me master her pretty well, a lot faster than without setting up a profile for her. I also have one for one of my other characters, but that's a good tip. I'm going to have to take the time and set one up for each hero and set up their self-defense, self-heal, whatever ability to the F key. That's
Set up
I
for
like
guaranteed. But just briefly going through, it's really helpful for me to just rapidly have my defensive on F, really short, quick to use button, and I'll just quickly go through my list and give you some examples of things you can rebind in different character profiles you can make. So I went over Arthas. I rebound his Death Coil self-cast. I find it way more convenient in the situation where you need to self-cast Death Coil for the heal. I like that on G, and I like F to be Icebound on Arthas for whenever you need CC reduction. Brightwing, I press F, it casts E on myself, so that's some protection. Chen, F is evasion for me. Dahaka, F is unbound, but what I do with F is I rebound F to non-quick cast Z, so then I can press F and look at all the bushes I need to dig to. Diva, I use drop bomb on both E or F, so depending, I can spam twice as fast. ETC, not super relevant. False stat, not incredibly relevant. Gall, one thing I like to do is rebound shove to Z, Genji W to F, and etc. so on and so forth, as you can see throughout the list of heroes. Different heroes have different defensive abilities, and using alt as your self-cast mechanism I don't like. F is generally an unused ability, so yeah guys, hopefully those tips helped you out a bit here and there. It's something I've used to incredible comfort and success in pro play, and maybe you guys will have some fun too. Alright, have a good one. Talk to you guys later.
Alright, those are good tips.
Excited to finally be on.
Let's find another here.
Hello? Hey! Hey guys.
I'm gonna find another short, quick video. We might watch this one, optimizing map mechanics. Let's see here, Anubarak. How to deal with healers as assassin. That might be a good one.
Everyone makes mistakes, but I absolutely
There we
hate
go.
it when people use that phrase as an excuse to continue doing poorly. A mistake is no longer a mistake if you make it over and over again, and by that time it ends up just becoming a byproduct of negligence. So here are the top 8 mistakes that players make in Heroes of the Storm and how to avoid them in your own games. Number 1 is thinking that every single objective must be won. So when you first start to play Heroes of the Storm, you might think that your team needs to secure every single objective, but that's actually not the case, and a game can actually be won without the use of objectives at all. Now, you probably shouldn't be purposely giving up easy objectives, but you shouldn't be forcing really difficult ones that involve pretty much unwinnable situations. So, for example, if your team is composed of a lot of late-game scaling heroes, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult to get some early-game objectives. Like, for example, the first few tributes on Cursed Hollow. So instead of suiciding to get those impossible objectives,
Which happens
you should
frequently.
instead consider giving them up, or maybe just even like stalling and poking them down, while the rest of your team soaks experience from lanes. So remember, throwing your bodies into a death pit and giving away free kills is far worse than giving up an objective uncontested and using that time to do something else.
Is it just me,
Number
or does he
2
talk
is
like
giving
Obama?
up too early. Far too often, I see people saying GG in the chat only a handful of minutes into the game. Now, not only is that just not
That happens
true,
frequently.
but it also puts the team in a bad mood because
Yep.
someone just demonstrated that they've lost hope in their team. And of course, this leads to people being more willing to abuse each other and scrutinize each other's plays and overall just bring the mood down. So if you're one of these people who calls an early GG, don't do that. And instead, if you're upset about something, give your team specific advice rather than just calling them bad. And this will shift the focus more on improving weaknesses instead of making personal attacks. Number 3 is focusing the same target every single fight. Every engagement is a new scenario, and focusing down the same person in every single fight usually isn't.
Might help if I don't have the damn mic muted. So I was saying earlier, I've been trying to improve at Heroes of the Storm. These are some tips and tricks videos, just some pointers. I've already been working on my stutter stepping, as well as keeping a constant eye on the mini-map. I do a pretty good job of that, but I could definitely improve. I'm no master at it by any means. As well as redoing my key bindings. The first video we watched had some really good pointers on the camps in Volskaya Foundry. I did not know they were worth so much XP, so I will definitely be going for those more often. I honestly feel like camps are a underused resource, especially if your team is losing a lot of team fights. If the other team is just rolling over you, they're doing a good job of sticking together. That is your chance to go grab a couple camps, so they have to split to take care of those camps. I don't see that happen enough. That's one thing I'm pretty good at pinpointing, is because I've been playing a specialist for so long. I know once we start getting rolled over, if I am able to leave the group for a minute or two, I can go grab 2 to 3 camps, push a lane down real quick, hearth back, and be right back in the fight. Now the other team has to split and take care of that. They're not grouped, they're not rolling us over, they're not rolling over our towers. It buys us more time to get our shit together. The second video was redoing your key bindings. I am probably going to take his tip and put together profiles for our, if not all the heroes, at least some of my main heroes. I like his tip of redoing the self-cast defensive ability to the F key. I actually like that a lot, so I'm probably going to do that on a lot of my heroes. And then this one that we're getting into is just the top 8 mistakes that players make. He's already pinpointed. Don't be a asshole and say good game 3 minutes into the game just because somebody died. You're trolling, but you just lost the match for yourself because you pissed off and fucked with everyone's mind during the game instead of being encouraging and building your team up. So you pretty much just lost that ranked match, so congrats. He also talked about giving up the objective if it is pretty clear that all of your team isn't there. A 4 versus 5 fight isn't probably your best bet, so that is a really good tip. And then always hitting the nearest target with the smallest health pool. So if you have the tank pushing up against you and a Jaina with a quarter of her health left right behind him, stop fucking attacking the tank that's right in front of you and target Jaina that's right behind him. Jaina's doing a shit ton more damage to everybody than Stitches is right in front of you. So we'll get back into this video here now that I figured out that my fucking mic was muted. Sorry about that, guys.
Isn't gonna work. Now, I hear don't focus the tank a lot. And that statement is actually very often not true. So, if you're a ranged character, you should be hitting whoever is closest to you with the smallest health pool. So, if a squishy enemy carry is in the same distance away as the enemy tank, then yes, you should be hitting the carry.
Yeah, he is right. So if you're ranged, you should be targeting them. I wasn't saying by any means that if you're melee, you should be diving into the group of people for the Jaina that's in the middle of the group. That's not what I'm saying. So yes, if hitting the tank is the closest, safest thing you can do, then yes, please do that. Otherwise, target the most damage output, lowest health people that are close to you.
But if the enemy tank is the only person nearby, and repositioning your own body to be in range to hit the enemy carry would put you at risk of death, then the correct answer here is actually to stay where you are and focus down the tank. Now, a lot of large and high-level team fights with really good positioning actually ends up becoming a race to whoever can kill the enemy front line first. And if your tank is bulkier than the enemy tank, and you can shred through their front line before they can kill yours, that's actually the safest way to gain access to the enemy carries. Number 4 is not pushing while having an advantage. Alright, so let's play a game called Are You an Idiot? Here's a scenario. You just won a huge team fight. You killed 5 enemies, and your entire allied team is alive. The question here is, do you go back to base? If you said yes, you're an idiot. But don't worry, because now you know not to do that, and you're not an idiot anymore. Whoa! You take your advantage, and you push. You kill minions, and you kill structures, and you push. You don't go back to base. You push. Now that was a pretty obvious example, but there are some smaller advantages that you can use to push your lead. For example, if you're up a talent tier, that's a good time to play aggressively. If a few enemies...
So he's talking about once you've finished a team fight, you've taken out most of the enemy team, and it's all 5 of your team members up, all 4 of your team members up, whatever. Instead of hearthing back because you have, I don't know, 5%, 10% health, take that advantage, kill some minions, get some globes, heal yourself up, push whatever you can, grab camps, do whatever you can until the enemy's timers are up. Once the enemies start to res, for a better term, that is your opportunity to then hearth back and heal up and mana up. So that's a good tip for some people.
Enemies got picked off on one side of the map. That's a good time to take some mercenary camps on that side of the map and stuff like that. Number 5 is thinking you must win a lane. Early on in the game, laning phase is pretty important because that's where you get all the experience and levels. But a lot of people don't realize that they can just sit back and soak, and they don't necessarily have to win their lanes by crushing the enemies and getting kills. Now, some team compositions have really good gankers that can capitalize on enemy teams being pushed up, but some team comps just don't have that, and it's fine to sit back and soak and wait for mid-game to arrive. Just make sure that you're not dying, and you're pretty much doing fine in your lane. Now remember that if you're outnumbered in your lane, it most likely means that your team is outnumbering the enemies in a different lane. And if you're part of the outnumbering group that's outnumbering the enemy, make sure to push hard and capitalize on the numbers advantage that you have. Number 6 is going to objectives with no health or no mana. If you're going to an objective with low mana, you're basically showing up as a glorified minion who can only contribute basic attacks and soak a little bit of damage. And if you're going to an objective with low health, you're arriving just to be one-shot. To avoid being low of mana, make sure that you're not spamming your abilities in lane to push minions as quickly as possible, and instead get the most out of your free, no-cost basic attacks. And as for health, try not to chase too hard and have the enemy team turn on you, and don't tank unneeded damage from structures. And if you do that during laning phase, there's a reduced chance that you'll end up being forced to go to an objective with low health or mana. But if you end up having low health or mana anyway, use a healing well or just go back to base and heal. Because arriving late to an objective fight, although it's not ideal, is still better than showing up just to instantly die anyway. Number 7 is sticking to one inflexible build. So, running the exact same talent build in every single team comp on every single map is not the optimal thing to do. A lot of heroes have situational talents that are good in particular compositions or maps, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. And if you're looking up talent build guides, make sure you scroll down and actually read the commentary on it as well.
Yeah, this is very true. To get started doing this, I would highly suggest when you play against stealth characters that you look at your talents on your character and see if they have an ability to reveal stealth characters. That's your chance to start getting into situational builds on your characters. So this is a really good tip.
Well, because most of the good guides will actually let you know about good situational talents and when to use them. So a few quick examples of this would be like taking Giant Killer, which is particularly effective if the enemy team has a lot of tanky heroes. Taking things that increase area of effect damage would be pretty good on Infernal Shrines to kill those little critter things, get a faster Punisher. Taking Mule on maps like Sky Temple will help mitigate some of the damage if you end up losing a temple, and stuff like that. And finally, number 8 is engaging into battle when the enemy is level 10. So this one is actually pretty simple. If the enemy team has a heroic ability lead and you don't, then you shouldn't be engaging in a fight. So not only are heroics extremely strong, but they're an entirely new ability, and fighting at a heroic disadvantage is pretty much always a suicide mission. So this does mean that you're probably going to have to give up some objectives and play passively around this time if you're at a disadvantage. But remember that if you were to engage, you'd only be put further behind anyway, so you're better off just being patient. Alright, that's going to be all for this video. Hopefully it was helpful not only to beginners.
Good video, good tips. I like that.
Hey everyone, Nubcax here, and in today's top 5 tips video,
Just trying to find some other good videos for us to watch.
My name's Botany Up.
Hi guys, Quirts here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 8 things you should stop doing in Heroes of the Storm. This is going to be a
hey everyone,
Almost
here,
there.
and welcome. Let's go over here.
Almost.
Hello everybody. I am real.
Alright. Let's do top 5 control tips for Heroes of the Storm.
All about controls. What settings can you tweak in the menus? What hotkey combinations are there that help you get more out of your character and that top level players are using all the time in their games, but they aren't all that clear from the game itself, so you may not even know that these options exist. This video is particularly aimed at anyone who's looking to really climb higher in Hero League and get the most out of the game as possible, to be putting their best foot forward. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so tip number 1 is all about Quick Cast, which is an option you can find in the hotkeys menu that happens when you bring up the main game menu. By default, that's by pressing Escape. Click into hotkeys, and at the bottom of the menu on the left hand side, you'll have something called Quick Cast Setting. Click into Quick Cast Setting and you can actually change individually this setting for every individual hero in the game, for every individual spell and ability and input that they have. For the purposes of this video, we'll just focus on the globals. And we got 3 options: off, on, and on release. Okay, so here we are in the game, and this is us using Quick Cast turned off, which is the default when you are first turning on the game. You press an ability, for example, I press Q right here, then you left click and it fires off your ability. We press W, it brings it up. A right click will move us and cancel the command. Malfurion, you are very brave, my friend. W, left click, and it executes the ability. Back in the game with Quick Cast turns on, I press Q and the abilities instantly fire. In fact, let me toggle cooldowns here just to make that super clear. So I just put my mouse over here, press Q and it's fired, press W and it instantly fires. It doesn't bring up a targeting reticle, it just instantly activates the ability as soon as I press that button down. The final option is on release. I press down Q, it brings up a targeting reticle. I take my finger off of Q and Rip Arthas, he died before he could even hit, but it fires as soon as I take my finger off the key. So it removes the mouse as an input that's necessary. So again, press down Q, brings up the targeting reticle, take my finger off and it fires it off. If I do it quickly, it looks like this. It goes pretty quickly. This is what it looks like if I just press it as pretty much as quick as I can. There's very little delay, but it does enable you to, take the time. Let's say we're chasing this Malfurion. He's an evil Malfurion. We're chasing him down. We want to aim it just right. There we go. Great, we got him. Okay, cool. We're chasing Arthas. Okay, he's gonna go this way, and there you go. That's what on release allows you to do is it gives you the option between the two. So which one of these options is best? What should you be using? Well, it's very important that you use one of the quick cast options because they enable you to do things just that much faster, and that reflex time really does matter a lot in higher levels. You can get away with the default settings, but ironically enough, it's more difficult because it's actually, you have to be faster to get away with the default settings because there's an extra input that you need to do to make your abilities go off. You need to do a mouse input as well, which is extra stress on you. You don't want to have to do that. I think the best option is probably actually to combine both quick cast and quick cast on release as well. Even sometimes for very particular abilities, you might even want to turn it off. Let's say something that requires very precise aiming, like Tacitar's Force Wall, for example. Generally speaking, I advise you just jump straight to quick cast. If you're concerned you don't know the ability ranges, you're not super familiar with heroes, try a quick cast on release, but it's really important that you do start using one of those options in your games, and you will find that you can play much faster, much more consistently, especially with heroes like Vala or Illidan, really fast heroes whose inputs you need to be on top of at all times. Okay, tip number 2 is something called stutter stepping. This will actually be slightly altered if you have implemented the quick cast like I advised in the previous tip. What is stutter stepping? Well, in short, it is interspersing movement commands between your basic attack commands. So for example, I run up, I start shooting Arthas. Very nice. Well, Arthas is eventually going to start running away. What I can do is I can put movement commands in between my basic attacks to still get off as many basic attacks as before, while also moving at the same time. Okay, we got minions turned back on so I can show this. But yeah, I can, with right clicks, move around this minion wave. Very easy. I'm doing this all with right clicks. Now, one thing you'll notice is you'll probably see me make a couple of mistakes right there. It does get fairly difficult to be consistently accurate with this, especially on a range hero like Vala. For example, if I'm stutter stepping around Arthas, I want to like move and click Arthas. Whoops, I missed my right click. Instead of clicking on Arthas to shoot him, I clicked behind and oh dear, I just ran into Arthas. I'm Vala, now I'm in melee range of Arthas. I'm in the Frozen Tempest, this is terrible. What can I do? Well, there is something else you can do to make this a little bit easier, and that is using the attack move command. This by default is bound to the A key, so I press A. You'll see normally, by the way, a movement command is a little green click on the ground. Attack move command will do a red click. There we go. Basically, I will move in a direction until I find something that I can attack, then I'll stop, and I'll start shooting that thing. Great, awesome. And once they're dead, then you keep moving to where you previously submitted the command. Well, you can stutter step with this. Basically, we do an attack move, then a normal move, attack move, normal move. I just had to go back and tweak the settings. It's like, this doesn't feel quite right. What's going on? I'd left quick cast on release off. Turned on by accident, which is not what I normally play with. Whoops. Anyway, back on track. I'll do it against this minion wave, but like we come in here with attack move, there we go. Gonna move around. And you can see just using attack moves beside my character, I'm able to completely control my character and still be getting off all my basic attacks while still moving. The disadvantage of this is that you're slightly less accurate, of course. You'll shoot basically the first thing that comes into range. For example, up against Arthas, it's obviously just a bot, but if he would pop Army of the Dead, and you have all the little summons around, we'll shoot the summons instead. If there's a minion wave, for example, if I attack move over here to shoot Arthas, right? You see I'm using attack move, I'm just shooting the minion because it's closer to me. If I want to shoot Arthas in this circumstance, I need to actually use right clicks to specifically target him. Either way, at the end of the day, there's the two methods that you can use to do stutter stepping in your games. This has a lot of advantages. It lets you be much more mobile in team fights, either to retreat while still doing as much damage as possible with your basic attacks, or to go forwards aggressively while still doing damage with your basic attacks as well. It also lets you be more mobile in the lane when you're clearing minions. You can dodge skill shots. And at the very worst, it gives your opponent a lot more information to think about and to process, right? It's very easy to lane against someone who's standing still shooting a minion wave. Much harder if they're juking around all over the place. You're not quite sure where they're going to go next, even if it's just completely random attack moves and they're just messing around, stutter stepping around minion wave, and they're not going to do anything. It's still something they need to process. One final little tip here is that the right clicking on targets to shoot a particular one is very important for ranged heroes. For melee heroes, you're typically, hitting something in melee range. It's the closest thing to you anyway. So attack moves for them, again, a hero like Illidan, it's much more simpler and you probably get away with that most of the time. But yeah, with a ranged hero like Vala, who I'm playing here, you're gonna be wanting to intersperse some particular right-click aimed attacks on priority targets as well during team fights or laning and so on. Okay, tip number 3 is using the control hotkey. What is the control hotkey? Well, the control hotkey brings up your talents, which is very, very useful. Press control brings up the talent selection over here. Additionally, control combined with the number key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on some heroes. ETC, I'm pretty sure, still has 5 talents at level 20. They've been removing that, but yeah, still up to 5. But yeah, if you combine control with that number, you will choose that particular talent. So for example, over here, I'm playing as Vala. Oh, I forgot to take my level 1 talent. I'm an idiot. Well, I want to take Monster Hunter, which is the first one over here. I can pop control, take a quick glance without taking my attention off the fight too much, and still lets me be effective here if I want to. Okay, I'm gonna get control 1, gonna get puncturing arrow as well to get a stack as we kill Arthas. Awesome stuff. And there you go. That really, I hope, illustrates the purpose of the control selection for talents. It lets you choose talents while you are in the middle of team fighting. The normal regular way, you can press N to permanently bring up your talent selection, which might be useful in some circumstances. You can also click the hero portrait and then manually click a talent. Obviously though, you need your mouse to play the game. You use the mouse an awful lot for aiming, for movement, and all that sort of stuff. So you don't really want your mouse involved. Much, much better to use the control plus click version to select your talents as quickly as possible. How often should I use this, Numpkex? Like, can I get away with just clicking, when I'm in the lane and nothing much is happening? Not really. To be honest, 95% of the time you want to be using the control method. You want to be as comfortable with this as possible so that, yeah, those times where you need to grab Ice Block in a team fight and activate it immediately to survive on a support hero, you can do it. Those times when you need to grab Mosh Pit on ETC, this, like as you're power sliding into the enemy team, as you've just hit level 10, you need to be comfortable enough to do it. So yeah, I highly suggest that every single time you're picking a talent, you should be using the control plus number key in order to do it. It might take some getting used to at the start, but it's just so much more effective, so much more flexible, and you really need to practice this skill. For tip number 4, we have become the bot Malfurion. Actually, there's still another one there. There's 2 Malfurions in this game. That's how we roll. But this is the Alt hotkey. This hotkey has a ton of uses. One that you might not know is Alt and pressing an ability will self-cast it. So for example, Alt plus Q is Malfurion, toggle cooldowns even, will automatically self-cast this on me. Great, fantastic. Really nice when you're playing supports to be able, in a pinch, in a team fight where things are really hectic and you suddenly get targeted by a CC, you get locked down and your life is in danger, you can throw out a heal, you can throw out a divine shield and anything like that on top of yourself and get yourself back in the action. Another sometimes somewhat wonky version of this is area abilities will also be self-cast. So for example, Alt plus E will cast Roots underneath Malfurion. You can do this with pretty much every area ability. For example, with Vala and Reign of Vengeance, you're able to do it as well and just cast it right in front of her. It's quite clunky. So yeah, self-casting area abilities, not usually as useful, but it is something that's there. The best example I can think of an area ability that I self-cast basically every single time would be Azmodan's Blackpool. You can, like, while you're aiming elsewhere on the map completely, you can use Alt or to self-cast that Blackpool so that you can get the best Infernal Globes possible. So that's one example of it being kind of useful. Other uses for Alt, you can click your health to tell your teammates how much health you have. Click your mana. Another thing you can do is click your abilities to let them your teammates know, okay, I'm ready to use Regrowth. One of the most useful things you can do is go, guys, I don't have my heroic up for 84 seconds, be careful. Or for example, if there's like 5 seconds left on your heroic and you're like, go in, I've got Tranquility in 5 seconds, go. Okay, Tranquility is a bad example, but let's say you're, I don't know, your Kelthus with Pyroblast. You're like, let's go in, I've got Pyroblast. Your teammates will be super excited to hear that you picked Pyroblast, and then they'll be super excited to know that it's available. So yeah, that's one useful thing you can do. Of course, then just regular pings are also something you can do. So just ping here, you can ping a hero. If it's an AI, you grab hold of them. You can ping an enemy hero to say, I want to kill this person, or I want to push this cannon tower, all that sort of stuff. And then Alt, and then click and hold it down. You bring up the ping wheel, in case you don't know what this is, but you can say, I'm on my way. You can say, there's danger, go back. You can say, defend, and you can say, assist me. So a whole bunch of different tools. Retreat, by the way, is by default bound to V. You can do retreat ping, so yeah, there you go. Finally, and in some ways I've saved maybe one of the best things for last. This really blew my mind when I discovered it. But this is the shift hotkey. What does that do? This lets you queue up commands. So for example, something pretty useless I can do is just do a whole bunch of movement commands in a circle. Hey, cool, take my mouse off. Hey, mouse over here. Hey, we're looking over here. What's going on? I'm still running in circles because I queued up a whole bazillion movement commands, and I'm just going to execute those in order of what I put in by holding down shift and right clicking. Not particularly useful to do this unless you want to look really fancy while you go to the toilet or something, you know, feign that you're still playing the game while you are secretly running to get a biscuit. Maybe that's what you want to do. Much more useful thing you can do with this though is never fail, you know, mounting and then oops, I moved and cancel my mount command. Never fail again. Simply press Z, shift right click, and you'll instantly, the millisecond your mount command completes, you will start moving. A really next level version of this. I'm going to try moved and cancel my biscuit. Maybe that's what you want to do. Much more useful.
I'm actually listening to this tip because I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Thing you can do with this though is never fail, no mounting and then oops, I moved and cancel my mount command. Never fail again. Simply press Z, shift right click, and you'll instantly, the millisecond your mount command completes, you will start moving. A really next level version of this, I'm going to try illustrate this against a minion wave. Let's pretend that this wizard minion is like the altar on Towers of Doom. I'm going to right click him to channel the altar, then shift Z to queue up my mount command, then shift right click to move immediately. Now this might go a bit wonky because Arthur's here. Shift Z, shift right click, here we go. This stuff is queued up. Minion goes down, I mount up, and there I go. I had my hands basically off the keyboard at that point. But I queued all that stuff up. It's so useful, especially on a map like, I mean, Towers of Doom, perfect example. It lets you basically turn elsewhere completely on the map and know that you are going to grab the altar, you're going to mount up, start mounting the millisecond the altar channel is completed, and then the millisecond that your mount channel is completed, you're going to start running down in the direction that you indicated. Incredibly useful stuff. Another very useful example of this is also for grabbing healing fountains. So I'm going to mount up, shift right click the healing fountain, I'm going to shift right click back into lane. In the meantime, I'm going to check out the talents. What has Arthur's picked up? Okay, he's got Army of the Dead. That's good to know. Hey, we're back. And instead of like not doing anything, instead of manually dragging Malf over, clicking the fountain, okay, it's the second he's clicked the fountain, I click back into lane. Instead of doing that, I can basically completely safely, knowing that everything's going to be fine, I can click over here, click back into lane. Great. I can check out the talents. I can look at the minimap. I can, you know, check out hypothetical bottom lane. I can check out hypothetical top lane. I can see how my teammates are doing and then adjust my gameplay with that. And this also, of course, works with heartstoning. I mean, I can heartstone, shift right click back into lane. Great, I'm going to pop back to the fountain. There we go, I'm back. And then my hero is just automatically running back to where I told him to go to. So a very useful way, you know, when you're just heartstoning really quick, or let's say you're heartstoning to go to an objective down in bottom lane from the top lane, you can set up your hero to do that. You can review the talents, you can review the strategic situation, and be moving forwards way more information than you would otherwise have. So there you guys go. There are the top 5 tips I have to give for controls.
Alright. Here is new and experienced players' advice on improving and not raging.
Unicorn says, I feel like my control of the heroes is relatively decent, but I lack map awareness and strategic thinking. What's the best way to learn more about those parts in your opinion? Alright, let's keep those two elements separately. First, map awareness. Map awareness is just like driving a car. You know how to drive the car, you know how to speed up, slow down, brake, steer, and so on. But you must keep looking in your rear mirror, side mirrors, dead corner, like blind corner I think it's called in English. That is your due diligence to make sure you're safe. And it's the same thing with heroes. First, you must deliberately train to create repeated moments to look on the minimap. Then, you must get comfortable with it. If you still forget from time to time, it's probably because you're in a new mechanical situation. And just like you might forget to look in your car rear mirror if you are in a dangerous new situation where someone is like trying to go into your lane. I mean, you should if you're very good and experienced, but first deliberate training, then comfortability. That's the summary. Now the other one. You said, let me just read it. You said strategic thinking. It's a pretty broad categorical topic, but to train your strategical thinking, you need to basically think about the game when you're not playing. You can't think about it while you're playing. You can't learn in a game, generally speaking. So for example, if you lose a game, think, what could I have done differently? Why did I do what I did?
So I guess.
Should I have made that decision? Should my team have? How could I have done it differently? What would come out of it? You don't always know the answer, but the question itself is most important. We do a lot of things without reason, or without thinking about it. You want to kind of challenge yourself in all your standard habits to see if those habits are still effective. For example, if I see 20 minions on the map, no one in the lane, my initial response is go and soak it. It's a very strong pull. It is intrinsic to how I play the game. However, sometimes it can be bad. For example, there could be a trap on your way there. Or maybe you can add even more value in the team fight if you don't go there. But other times, you need to do exactly that. Then how do you do it? So challenge everything and then try to sharpen your judgment and your decision-making process. And again, it's a deliberate process until you get more comfort in it. Better.
Hi Grubby, I want to be a better person like you. How do you manage your anger to not get salty or tilted?
This requires a really long answer, because I also still get tilted or salty. It still happens, but less than before, and especially less than 12 years ago.
Sorry, guys.
I guess it's different for everyone, but mostly it's remembering what else you have going in your life. And I know that seems really overblown. And it's like, why would you need to have perspective? It's just a video game, just don't be angry. But people who say that, they don't really get us. We really care about winning, about playing the game and doing well and so on. We really care. So, it is about having perspective. Now, for me, sometimes that didn't work because I didn't have anything else going on in my life, or so I thought. And of course, you can always say that there's something going on in your life. First of all, you are alive. Secondly, you are healthy if you are. If you're not, then I imagine you could get even angrier. And it takes a very mature spirit to not get too upset at having a, unluckier lot in life. But let's say if you are healthy, you have a roof over your head, even though you're not particularly excited about some parts of your life, that is still enough reason not to get too angry about the game. Now, for some people, when you play the game, there are actually additional ambitions, such as going pro gamer. And then if you're failing, it really feels like you're failing at everything you're trying to amount to in life. So, and this is how all sportsmen feel, because you cannot be a top sportsman in a competitive game unless you are very, very ambitious and you make it your number one passion and your number one goal in life to be good at that. And then when it's not working, that does feel dark. But the important thing to remember is that to get better at the game or at your passion, whatever it is, you must enjoy yourself. It is number one. If you are not aiming at enjoying yourself, but you need to get better just because you feel like you have to, either for yourself or because of other people's expectations on you, you're in a very stressful situation. So ideally, keep finding ways to enjoy yourself. If you're trying to push through a wall that's just, it's not even a bit of fun, go around the wall. Don't go through. Go play some Brawl. Go play some Team League. Heck, even take a break from the game. And remember what you love about the game. Now, if there isn't anything you love about it, then I don't think you should be keeping on to play it. But if there is, taking one step back will offer you some perspective. Will allow you to enjoy the game again. And then, once you are ready with motivation, reinvigorated, and you start on the game again, get some goals for yourself. I want to get better at this. I want to get better at that. And then after the end, at the end of the day, try to evaluate. Did I learn something today? And no matter how many games you lose or win in a day, falls into nothingness compared to, did I learn something? Either about life or about the game. And when you do learn something, then that is something you take away to the next day. And that is why you should always have a goal when you're training. Don't just go and play and say like, I'm gonna willpower to win as many games as possible because I need to prove to myself that I can be a high win rate player. That doesn't matter, that will happen automatically. Nor can you truly practice micro very easily. It will happen automatically through playing a lot and wanting to achieve your goals. Just set out on a day and say, I want to get better at not dying in lane, or I want to get better at following up my Tyrande stun on my tanks. And then paying attention to that can make you feel really satisfied about your day, even if you lost everything, because you can learn and improve, and it gives you a sense of self-worth, and then you'll have more fun as well. So every time you get angry, take a break and reflect on this.
Nice. He had some really good points in that video. I like his tips about staying positive, learning from your mistakes, learning every day, taking that to the next day. That's one thing I've been trying to get better at Heroes of the Storm, and it gets frustrating at times because you think you're doing well, or you think you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it turns out once you watch the replay, you're like, man, why in the world did I do that? What in the world was I thinking? So it gets really frustrating. So that's a good tip on not letting it get to you and keeping a positive mindset during the game and trying to learn something from every game. This is just a quick little video, 8 things you should stop doing in Heroes of the Storm. Again, I haven't seen any of these videos. I'm watching them for the first time as well. I just thought I would go ahead and stream watching these. That way anyone who's watching can benefit from these videos as well. We can learn together.
New type of mini-series on the channel. Please consider leaving a like on the video if you do enjoy this type of content, and leave a comment down below to let me know what you want to see next time in this mini-series. But without further ado, let's get on in to the list that I have prepared. Bearing in mind this is in no particular order. Giving up when the going gets tough. If you say, AFK, we lost, before your core is at 0%, congratulations, you're officially that guy. The guy everyone hates playing with, the guy that ruins the experience for others.
Yep.
Don't do it. Not paying enough attention to your minimap. The minimap is arguably the most important tool you have in your arsenal. You should be checking it at least every 5 to 10 seconds. It gives you the power to know where both your team and enemies are. If you don't see your enemies on that map, questions should be raised. Am I in trouble? Are they getting mercs? The more you use your minimap, the more information you will have available to you, and thus, the more important you are to your team. Ignoring pings. Pings are the only thing your team have to quickly alert you to events in the game outside of voice-com. If you ignore these pings, you could be missing out on key opportunities that can cost you games. Make sure you reply to these pings, even if it's stating to retreat from that situation.
Yep.
Not adapting your build to certain situations.
This is a big one.
So if you go into a game and you say, no, I'm going to go for this talent build, and not adapt your build to certain situations, then that can be the difference between countering an enemy hero and winning all the plaudits to failing miserably and not capitalizing on every situation. Picking a class you want to play and not what your team needs. Heroes of the Storm is arguably the biggest team-orientated MOBA out there. Be prepared to sacrifice what you want for what your team actually needs. It makes you a better player overall, and more importantly, a player people want to play with. Bad-mouthing others. If your teammate is playing badly, instead of bad-mouthing him off, saying how bad he is, try advising him on where he's actually going wrong, in a kind manner. Everyone has bad days at the office. This improves the experience for everyone and gets rid of that toxic community that MOBAs are so famous for.
Yes.
Once bad-mouthing begins, you lose concentration on the game, and that's normally when things go from bad to worse.
It's very true.
Predictable movement. This one is more of a general for all MOBA games, but it's also one of the most important ones. If you're standing still while laning, you're making it super easy for your enemies to use their skill shots on you. Instead of this, stutter step, where you continuously move around and at the same time use your basic attacks. This makes it considerably harder for your enemy to hit you, saving you from CC and unnecessary loss of HP. Focusing the tank. I see this happen all the time, and obviously this is situational, but if you're in a team fight, most of the time you're going to want to take out priority targets, which aren't the tanks. But I understand it's super easy just to target that big tanky thing sitting in the middle. Avoid it if you can. This puts pressure on the enemy's back line, which leads to more kills, more pressure, and then you can kill that tank later anyway. Now these are just 8 things that I personally feel that you should stop doing if you're doing them in Heroes of the Storm. There's obviously a load more, and to be honest, I'd love to hear from you guys what you think, whether you can add to this list or not. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also leave a like, as mentioned before, on the video if you do enjoy this type of video, as I'm hopefully going to be doing a lot more of this type of content if you guys enjoy it. But anyway, that's all from me guys for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you, hopefully.
Nice. Good video. Let's find another short one here. So that first one, that one's 10 minutes. Let's do the 10-minute one. This is how to deal with healers as an assassin.
Hello guys, how's it going? It's KO from Tempo Storm here, and today I wanted to take a look at the different healers that are currently in the meta and talk about, from a DPS perspective, the different strategies and things that you can do to have a better chance of beating the various healers. So let's take a look at Rhaegar first, and we'll just go down the line and talk about each one of them. Now mostly this is I'm talking about for Hero League. If you're going into Hero League and you're in the pick ban selection, there's a lot of influence you have over the game depending on what characters you pick compared to what characters that they have. So, for example, if we're talking about Rhaegar, Rhaegar is one of the more balanced healers in the game. Rhaegar is going to be that he's very jack of all trades for a healer, which means there's a little bit less counterplay with the specific healer. Rhaegar is going to work best for keeping up and enabling bruisers. So like Rhaegar pairs really well with bruisers. Just to keep in mind though, Rhaegar, while he brings a lot of utility and burst healing to his team, he doesn't really have that great of AoE team healing to keep his team up if they're constantly taking poke, because he's very much reliant on a 9-second cooldown. Now he can get the level 13 tidal waves here, which you'll see Rhaegars do sometimes when they're going in a situation with a lot of AoE damage. Tidal waves is a good option for that. But overall, yeah, if you have like a Lunara or something, or long range poke like Li Ming, that's really the best way you can kind of do damage to Rhaegar, because he can't just put all his eggs in one basket, which is their bruiser. They're constantly taking damage. He's relying on that 9-second cooldown, and you'll do pretty well against that. Just a quick note about Li Ming. We just mentioned Li Ming, but I think it's worth noting, by the way, that put on all rolls here, Li Ming doesn't really have any healers that can counter her in any way. Li Ming is way too much AoE and single target burst damage and sustain damage that doesn't really matter what you have as a healer, you're still not going to really be able to handle Li Ming's damage. So Li Ming is always going to be a safe pick.
Hey, what's up, Drew?
No matter what damage their healers have. She doesn't really interact with the synergies that other healers have.
Just watching some tips and tricks videos on how to improve it. Here's the Storm. Once I'm done with the stream, you can go back to the beginning. You'll laugh because I had my mic muted for like the first fucking like 10 minutes of the video. Luckily I wasn't talking, I was just sitting here watching videos, so.
Pros and cons, etc. She just does an insane amount of damage, which is tough for any healer to handle. Alright, back to the supports. We talked about Rhaegar. Let's talk about Medic a little bit. So, Medic is always going to excel at just keeping people up in a sustained fight, just constantly switching the beam on targets. She doesn't have to wait for a cooldown, so like she's always going to do better in poke sustained fights. The Safeguard as well allows her to mitigate a lot of burst. So really your biggest option and the biggest weakness that Morales has is that she can't heal herself. So having a comp that has more flank threats and ways to put pressure on Morales herself and kind of split the team up, that's the best thing you can do. Characters like Vala, Jaina, these kind of characters that can come in from the side, Greymane, put a lot of pressure on the back line of the enemy team, including Morales, and secure kills on Morales. Like that's why Greymane's really great, because you can just rip that R, jump on her, Q her, and usually get the kill. So that's more of a team comp thing as well. You want to try, when you see like a medic picked earlier in the draft, you want to try and start building your comp around counterplay of just being able to get in there and get a kill and finish the job.
Sorry, man.
So that's Medic. Let's talk about Malf a little bit. Malf is a unique healer because he does rely heavily on his ult Tranquility to be a healing threat. Now recently, the couple patches that we've had, we've seen a little bit more of a buff to his Q so that he's not as reliant on his Tranquility. Regardless, he is still very ult dependent. That's just the design of this hero. So the characters that are going to do really well against Malf are characters that can kind of break up the momentum of the fight, reset the fight, and be able to back off of the fight. So as soon as you see Tranquility, for example, one of the best counters in the game for Malf is going to be Falstad, because you can immediately just gust away this character, and that 100-second ult is something that they have to wait for it to come up again. Any characters that are cooldown reliant like that, that's what things like Gust are just amazing for. Malf is also fairly susceptible to hard engage. The only problem is that Malf is a healer that has Ice Block at 13, so it's something you need to be
which
aware
is
of
bullshit.
and watching out for. Be careful not to get in the habit of like, okay, well we're just gonna build a comp that's just gonna one-shot Malf. We're just gonna put everything into killing Malf at the beginning of the fight, because most of the time with Ice Block it's not gonna happen, and then you're gonna be in an awkward situation where you've all in the fight and the enemy team's just gonna kill you while the Malf is sitting there in Ice Block. Also, Malf can just pop the Tranquility then Ice Block, so it's not like, oh well Malf is Ice Block, so he's not healing anybody. Well, he's still healing because he still has Trank going the whole time. Alright, so moral of the story with Malf is try to pick things like a Falstad. Malf heals extremely well in sustained fights as well, especially with the Innervate as well, the mana regen. So you don't really want to get in poke wars versus Malfurion comp. So just having a character like a Falstad, a Zeratul, these kind of things that can break up the fight, as Zagara, those are your best bets. Alright, so let's talk about Kharazim a little bit. Now, Kharazim, they changed him a little bit as well so that he has a bit more healing and he's able to get cleanse. So with him being able to have, you know, both the healing and cleanse, he's not as much of a one-trick pony anymore. He does still have a decent amount of healing. And of course, your team's constantly got to be watching out for the burst from seven-sided. With Kharazim, the weaknesses that he has though is that one, he has to clump it with his team. He's a character that has to be clumped with his team because that's just the nature of his heal. He heals nearby heroes and it's a very small range. So he has to be sitting basically right on top of the people he wants to heal, which makes it a great target for AoE type characters. With characters clumping like that, you're going to get a lot of value out of Li Mings, out of alts like Ma, just any situation where basically you can get a lot of value out of all the targets being right on top of each other. So look for that with Kharazim. Let's talk about Brightwing a little bit. So Brightwing does have the trait that constantly is AoE healing, which gives her a nice sustain for her team when you're fighting around objectives, but she doesn't have the actual healing value that a lot of other characters do. So in poke battles, you kind of need something to happen with, like a Brightwing needs her team to actually make a play, because if they're just sitting around forever, her value falls off very quickly. She can throw the big shield. You know, that's her primary sustain, is being able to teleport on one of the bruisers or whatever and drop this big shield on them. But as soon as that value wears off, that's about all you're getting out of her. Also, she's extremely low mobility once she's in team fights. She does have the blink ultimate, of course, which is kind of annoying to deal with. That gives her the little extra mobility that she needs because she's so vulnerable in fights. But just keep track of how many times she's blinked, and just look for opportunities as soon as those blink charges are down. That's really when you want to try to and switch targets and go on to Brightwing and get the kill. Okay. Then there's Tyrande. Tyrande is an extremely aggressive support who needs to get kills in the fight to be valuable. So whenever you're playing against a comp that has a solo healer Tyrande, you know that you're going to get a lot of value out of your poke, because she really doesn't have that many ways to deal with poke. All she has is her one little Q heal, and unless she talents into that, it's a pretty underwhelming heal. So having abilities to keep people alive, like having a Tassadar against a Tyrande, is really good because you can shield the target and keep them from dying. And like I said, if a target's not dying, then Tyrande's value falls off a lot as a healer. So characters that can break up the fight momentum as well are really good here. Your Falstads, your Zagaras, your Zeratools, but also just poke. Poke does a lot of damage first time around the comps. If you have like a Lunar, for example, just dotting up the whole team, she just does not have the kit to keep all of them up. So anyways, guys, that's just a general little breakdown of what to look for with the different healers to read.
Alright, let's see. What else we got? We got optimizing map mechanics and objectives. Top 5 drafting tips. Let's watch this.
In today's video, I'm going to be telling you my top 5 tips for drafting in Heroes of the Storm, with particular focus, of course, on Hero League. These top 5 tip videos are a new series I am working on the channel, so if you like them, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Give me any feedback as well. This is the first one, so give me feedback down below. I've got 3 of these kind of scripted out and written and prepared so far, so they'll be coming out over the next couple of weeks. But if you have any ideas for topics, let me know, and yeah, the future of the show is in your hands. Okay, so tip number 1, know the standard team composition. This isn't the only team composition, of course, but this is the basic one, the standard one, the default one that you're going to be looking to build in most of your games. So the 5 heroes that we have to pick, these are the 5 roles in order of importance. Number 1, a healer, something like a Rhaegar. This is the most important thing you can do for your team. If your team has 4 assassins, what is the best thing you could add on to save it from itself? The best thing you can do is add on a healer. In Quick Match, they had to change the rules so that teams with healers were only matched against teams with healers, because it was just unfair. Otherwise, you always want a healer. Number 2, you want a warrior. Not quite as important as a healer, but still very, very good. Something big and tanky that brings a lot of control to the fight and keeps your squishier damage dealers safe. And lets them do their job more effectively. A good example of a warrior would, of course, be ETC. Next up, we want a ranged damage dealer. The advantage of being ranged is that, well, it's just easier, safer, and more consistent to do the damage you need to do. A good example of a ranged damage dealer would be Vala. Whereas poor old melee damage dealers, they're not always able to go in safely and do their damage. Ranged can do it much more often, and that really helps you out taking objectives, sieging up, or even fighting during team fights. It's just something consistent you can rely on. So you do nearly always want a ranged damage dealer as well. Numbers 4 and 5, a bit more flexible here, and this is also very important. You, on most maps, want at least one good solo laning hero, a hero that you can leave on their own in a lane and know that they will be safe and get you all of the XP soak from that particular lane. You'll very often, at the moment at least, be looking to find that hero in these final 2 more flexible picks. Pick number 4 is a frontline flex. That's what I like to call it. This is a second warrior
potentially a melee assassin, maybe even a melee specialist. Something that is a bit tankier, that helps bulk up that front line to protect, like I said, those squishy range damage dealers or squishy healers that you're going to have at the back. So something like Thrall or Dahaka would be an obvious example here. And then number 5, we have a general flex hero. You've got this is where you kind of get a bit more wackier. You can kind of tweak your team comp quite a bit while still keeping it within the sort of standard structure. So here, for example, you could grab one of those more unusual heroes that people do find difficult to draft into team comps. This is the spot for them. So something like the Lost Vikings or a Nova. You could also go for a second support here, something like Tassadar, maybe even a Zarya. You could, well, let's say with a particular composition we've already set up, we could grab something that kind of synergizes with that well and add something extra. So we could grab, let's say, a Samuro, who's going to work well with, you know, Bloodlust from Rhaegar, Earthquake from Thrall, and kind of distract from the Thrall and the Vala with his illusions. And then he also brings the strength of being really good at taking out objectives and merc camps quickly, which the rest of the team just frees them up to do other things. Or potentially you could go kind of a different direction, get another range damage dealer like Falstad, who can solo lane as well and bring some burst damage and control. Or you know what, just counterpick whatever the enemy team has. You know, it's a general flex. It's quite open, really. I suppose typically people will pick up a range damage dealer here, but do be aware that this is where you can really open it up if you want to and do something a bit different. Now, like I said at the start, this is the standard comp, the basic comp. It's not the only comp, and you can change it up, especially I would say to counter what the enemy team is doing. And I highly recommend as well, the Heroes Global Championship is starting later this month, January 2017, and the goal for this year is to have a regular broadcast that you can tune into consistently every week. That can be a great way to find out what the sort of standard compositions are at the moment from the best players in the game, and that can give you a good insight into the types of team that you want to be looking at building in your Hero League games as well. Alright, tip number 2. This is a smaller, more practical tip, which is to pick your healer or your warrior early on in the draft. Now this is particularly important if you are what I'll call blue team here for the sake of clarity, which is the team that gets 3 picks before the second ban phase. One team gets first pick and then 2 additional picks before the second ban phase, while the other team gets only 2. This is particularly important if you're that first team. One of the worst things you can do for your draft is to pick your 3 damage dealing heroes, your range damage, your melee flex, and then your general flex, usually the damage dealing ones. To pick those 3 before that second ban phase, it's a disaster. Why is that the case? Well, the reality of it is that there are much smaller hero pools for healers and for warriors, so often these are very good to target in that second ban phase. You also give away pretty much everything you're trying to build with your draft if you do pick those 3 damage dealers early on, which makes it really easy for the enemy team to ban away the warriors or supports that would fit really well what you've already got. And then finally, it makes it really, really easy for the enemy team to pick whatever they want, and you have got no option to counter them. There's a lot of damage dealers in the game, and they all have particular niches. They all have particular styles of hero that they're good at countering. If you've picked all your damage dealers early on, then you've got pretty much no flexibility left to counter. So for example, let's imagine a total disaster where you've picked 3 mages. You've got Kel'Thas, Jaina, and Li Ming. Okay, really bad composition. Well, if you've done that before the draft, the enemy team can simply turn around and, you know, pick a Nubarak or pick Stitches, you know, pick a whole bunch of heroes that have ability damage and spell damage resistance and spell armor. It'll be horrible for you, so just don't ever do it. That's one of the main tips I can give, is try to pick at least your warrior or your healer, just one of them. Pick them early before the second draft. It leaves you much more open to counterpick with your damage picks what the enemy team is trying to do, and it also protects you from being banned out of some really good heroes for the roles that have smaller hero pools. Okay, tip number 3. What sort of hero should I play, or how many heroes do I need to know how to play? Well, what I'm going to tell you might be a little bit unpopular, but it is true, and this is that for the most part in Hero League, you will be able to get away with, and you will do best with, having 2 to 3 comfort pick heroes. What I mean by this is these are 2 or 3 heroes that you play nearly all the time. You know all the ins and outs of them. You can play multiple talent builds. You're really comfortable, so that when all the stressful situations and high pressure situations come up in a Hero League game, you are able to deal with them fully because you are so comfortable on this hero and you can adapt to everything that's going on. This means going into a draft and saying at the start of the draft, this is a very easy way to do it, is say, hey team, letting you know I'm a main Ragnaros and Tychus player, for example, and then your team can try to work around it. I would say, obviously for the most part, pay attention to the bans. If one of your heroes is banned away all the time or first picked all the time, you're not going to get them, so you're going to have to expand your roster a bit then, but try to focus in on just having those 2 or 3 heroes. Now, on top of this, it is very important as well that you have a few more heroes that you can at least play. I think there are kind of 3 factors, sort of a Venn diagram, if you will, of things that you're looking for when you're looking for heroes in Hero League. The most simplest and straightforward and personal one is a hero that you enjoy, and it's up to you to decide how important your enjoyment of playing a particular hero is to choosing them in Hero League, but it's there. Then number 2 is heroes that you're good with, personally, that you are good with. Some heroes you're just never going to be good with. And then other heroes you can get good with practice. Where are you going to direct that practice? Well, number 3, you want to know heroes that are good in the meta, and we're going to come to that later on in this tip video. So you want to kind of overlap. I'd say with your comfort picks, you obviously want to have all 3. You want a hero that's really good in general right now, that you are personally very good on and that you love playing. They're your comfort pick heroes. Then you can work out, a few other heroes, maybe a few for each role that I'd say that you are at least personally good on, and then preferably that are good in the meta right now, and then try to learn to enjoy them if you can, because you're not going to always be able to play your favorite assassin. Sometimes you need to play warrior, sometimes you need to play healer. That's just the way of the game. So have a few others that you can play, but really dictate and direct your focus onto a small handful that you are really, really good at. Of course, this isn't, if you're watching my videos, this isn't a tip that I follow myself, because it doesn't suit my personality. I get really bored playing the same hero. Makes for good videos because it means that I typically have lots of different heroes coming out all the time, which is great for what I do, but it's not the most effective way to climb, so there you go. Alright, tip number 4, following on a little bit from tip number 3, is about talking to your teammates, and it's to suggest 2 or 3 good options for heroes, not just one. This is a huge mistake I see people make in the draft all the time, and it's awful, and this literally loses games from the best of intentions. This is where you turn around, your teammate is the final pick, and you go, oh, well, hang on a second. Actually, Tychus, let's say, for example, is the best pick for here right now. He counters what the enemy team has really well. He's strong in the meta right now. Tychus, he fits with the heroes that we already have. Tychus is perfect. He's good on this map, everything. Yeah, and then you go into the chat and you tell your teammate, hey, pick Tychus. Tychus is the best. No, don't pick that one. No, don't pick that one. Pick Tychus. Tychus, Tychus, Tychus. Problem is, what happens if your teammate, he turns around and goes, oh yeah,
thanks for the follow, Otis, appreciate it.
Looks so good. I'm gonna pick Tychus. He picks Tychus, you go into the game, turns out this guy is the worst Tychus player you have ever seen in your life. He has no idea how to play the hero, he picks all the wrong talents, he just gets himself killed constantly, he's in the wrong place all the time, and he loses the game. I have seen this happen so many times. How do you avoid this? Because you really, really want to avoid this. What I suggest doing is to, when you are giving your teammate a suggestion for a type of hero to pick, or if they ask for advice or they ask for input on what sort of hero to pick, I highly recommend giving at least 2, probably preferably 3, maybe even 4 good suggestions to them. So for example, let's say you're looking for that sort of ranged damage dealer who's kind of good against max health stuff. You might say, oh well, Tychus would be perfect, but let's say Raynor would be quite good, or maybe even Vala, or heck, we could do something kind of crazy and pick up, I don't know, let's pick up a Zeratul, I don't know. Just give them a bunch of suggestions, because what it lets them do is go, oh yeah, well, Tychus would be perfect here, but man, I really suck at Tychus. But Raynor's kind of second best. Well, I'm actually really good at Raynor, so I'll pick Raynor, and then we'll go with that. And then you're gonna have much, much better games.
Alright guys, and here we are on my desktop for tip number 5, which was, how do I know the meta? How do I learn about what heroes are good? What heroes should I be focusing my attention on and expecting people to be playing? And everything like that. Well, I've got 3 different ways that you can do this, and I think you're actually going to find
and it's very, very helpful and detailed. First of all, though, I'm going to start off with a bit of shameless self-promotion. So we do have, I produce a tier list about every month or so. What I've done for convenience sake is stick them at the bottom of the channel so you can find them really easily and admire the ever-evolving artwork that I do. Yeah, I produce one every major patch, which is every 3 or 4 weeks or so.
I'll actually look that up right now.
And in this tier list, I will, in fact, if we open it up and mute it, because it'd be strange listening to myself. Here we go. Okay, hang on. Let's fast forward to, I don't know. For goodness sake. Somewhere. There we go. Here we go. This is perfect. There we go. There's the Warriors, for example. So what I'll do is I'll go through every single role in the game, every hero in the game, and I'll put them into a tier, which is kind of like, it should signify their rough overall strength. And what I'll also do, very importantly, is I'll talk about the meta at the moment, what sort of styles of hero are good, why particular heroes are good, or why particular types of heroes are good, so that you can kind of get a broader understanding of it and apply it a bit more. So this is a good place to kind of start off, or then alternatively just like the regular videos that I produce on the channel. Especially, for example, the Road to Grandmaster videos I produce in this particular playlist. You can see most of my rank games with a whole variety of different heroes. I talk you through the draft and everything. Yeah, that can be a good place to look as well to learn a bit more about drafting and about ranked.
Nice. Actually I have his site pulled up right now or his page on YouTube. Looks like he has a lot of good videos. I'm gonna have to browse through some of those as some more tips and tricks as well. Let me add that tab over here to watch that later, because you know I have a billion tabs open. Let's see, what video was I on? Must have been
something which is updated a bit more regularly. We're going to hop over to hotslogs.com, and you're going to click this button, additional filters here. Now let's say, hypothetically, you are in gold, and you've just popped your queue for Hero League, and you're in the draft right now for, let's say, Battlefield of Eternity. Here's what we're going to do. Go over here, we've got this All Leagues button. We click over this, we're going to search for just Gold League. Alright, now we're searching for all heroes just for Gold League. Then we're going to hop over here, Battlefield of Eternity. Let's go. And here we go. Now what we have, for the last 7 days, what you can do is you can also search for more days. So for example, if there hasn't been a large patch in a while, you can...
This is one site I use pretty frequently. It helps me tell, of course, the popularity of the builds, the popularity of the heroes, and then also their win percentages over the course of how many games that hero has been played across all of Heroes of the Storm. So this site is actually really useful.
Search back. You kind of need to know when the patches are, in case, you know, you search too far back and then you start getting info on a hero who has been radically changed. If you want to be super safe, you can do only the current build. I mean, we could do that, but as you can see, there's been very few games because there's just been a patch. It was a hot fix though, so it's not important. So just go for the last 7 days instead. But yeah, here we can see, alright, these are the heroes with the highest win rates for gold, or ranked by win rate on Battlefield of Eternity. So this is a really, really good way to just give yourself a very quick crash course in your particular map. You hop in, even just take a glance at the top 10 heroes and go, alright, cool. Sergeant Hammer, Samuro, these dudes are doing really well. Lieutenant Morales, Brightwing supports are doing really well. Leoric, now here's something you have to watch out for, right? If we take a look at Leoric, this can often be a good indicator. This is the amount of percentage they've gone up in this time period as opposed to the previous time period. You can see this was updated 6 minutes ago. It's updated pretty regularly. But Leoric, he's only got 70 games, not a lot of games. And he's gone up 13%, which means that the previous week he was at 42%, which is awful. So definitely be maybe a little bit skeptical about this one, right? So small sample size, gone up a lot, so we'd be a bit skeptical about that. Gaslo, though, well, he hasn't changed much at all, so he just seems to be solidly good on this map at, what level are we at? Gold level, and so on and so forth. Ragnaros has gone up a lot, so we might be a bit cautious about him. Phalluses, Kerosene, so on and so forth. Should give you a bit of an insight. Again, Rex are only 13 games, which is why that win rate is so varied. Yeah, I mean, this can give you a good crash course. It's not always perfect, but the advantage of this is that it is completely tailored to your particular skill level and your particular rank. For example, let's take a look at silver for Tomb of the Spider Queen. Okay, so you have the Butcher, Karazim. Again, these heroes have gone up quite a bit. I mean, we could even search back. Let's search back a couple of weeks. And here we go. So Rexar, Karazim the Butcher, Kelthus. A lot of games on Kelthus. Hasn't changed much. He is a solidly performing hero here. Ragnaros, same thing. Hasn't changed much. A lot of games, in fact, banned most of the time. And a lot of stuff right there. So you see kind of a pretty good insight into each particular map and the heroes that are going to be strong. Good for a crash course. Also, you can like zip down and then see which heroes are going to be really, really bad on a given map. So that can be helpful as well. Then the final thing, I'll also show you how to do this one on hot slots as well. But what this is a pretty useful tool. This kind of links into what I was saying before about picking a few heroes and maining those heroes. Let's take a look at this. So what this does is it ranks the maps in terms from the hero's perspective. So let's take Greymane, for example. He's going to be a good example here. Greymane loves Battlefield of Eternity. Now his win rate 47%. That's pretty bad. What this tool is doing, I'll put the link in the description, is it's showing how much the hero likes the particular map. So this is one of Greymane's better maps. In fact, it's probably Greymane's best map. So if you are a Greymane main... I chose a really bad example for this. God damn it. Alright, we're rolling with it though. So Greymane main, if you're Greymane main. Alright, Greymane's pretty weak. He's gonna have a bad win rate on every map at the moment, because at the time of recording this, the hero kind of sucks. Just straight up, he kind of sucks, unfortunately. But let's say he is your main hero. He is the hero you play nearly every game. What maps do I play him on? What this tool makes it really easy for you to find. So we can see Battlefield of Eternity. Okay, this is one of Greymane's better maps. Let's compare him to another rare hero. Let's say Azmodan. Alright, so Azmodan hates this map. Let's say your two heroes are Greymane, Azmodan. Alright, we go to Battlefield of Eternity. We got two unusual heroes, which are typically going to be fairly low on the win percentages, so it can be difficult to know where you want to play them. Well, we can use this tool. We say Battlefield of Eternity. Alright, I play Greymane and Azmodan. Azmodan hates this map. Greymane loves this map. I'll try play Greymane on Battlefield of Eternity. If we switch over to Blackheart's Bay, this should be the other way around. There's Azmodan. Where's Greymane? Greymane is here. Okay, so on Blackheart's Bay, now we say, alright, I main Greymane and Azmodan. Well, Greymane hates this map. Azmodan loves this map. I'll play Azmodan. And that can be, this can be a nice tool, and there's one for every single map. I only found this the other day. I think it was put up 2 days ago, and it was shared on the subreddit, which is really, really useful. Here's how you do it in game. Let's find Greymane. He should be down at the bottom, right? Yeah, there he is. Hey, friend. 39.5% winner. That's wonderful. Alright, let's say we are a diamond player. Cool. Right, we'll search for diamond. Not only did you get info on the talents, but we want to use these little tabs over here. We can go wins by map. Alright, at diamond level play, Greymane, he is doing really well on Warhead Junction at the moment. Oh, that's very well on Warhead Junction, in fact. He's doing good on Garden of Terror, good on Haunted Mines. Battlefield of Eternity is there as well. He likes that map. Sky Temple, and so on. So we can search for the different levels of play. Let's say I'm a Bronze Greymane. What does Bronze Greymane look like? Alright, so sort of similar things. He's not doing too good on BOE here. So this is, this might go out of date a little bit. It's hard to say. But yeah, it should give you kind of a rough overview. I mean, overall, at the moment, in the last week, he's still doing, you can see he's doing pretty good on BOE overall. A little bit better. Warhead Junction also seems to be a pretty good map for him, and we could go check that here. Let's test this out. I should have tested this stuff before. So Greymane, yeah, there we go. Greymane likes this map. Greymane's really good over here. Cool. Alright, and this will be, I don't know exactly how they fulfill the statistics. It can be a good way. But this will also give you information too. What you can also do is, let's say, again, go back to our Diamond Greymane. We can say, alright, I want to play Greymane at Diamond. I'm going to be good against, should be good against Medivh and Uther, Gazlo, Stitches the Butcher, Raynor, that's pretty important because he's played quite a lot. Johanna, that's pretty important because she's played quite a lot. Vala, and she's played quite a lot, so he's doing well there. We need to watch out for heroes like Zul, Rexar, Chens, Gul'dan, Samuro, Kerrigan, Malfurion, Artanis. They're played a lot as well, so we need to watch out for that. Gul'dan played a lot too. So we need to be careful of those because he's got a bad matchup into them. So this is, yeah, you can also see heroes that you combo well with. So really, hop on to Hotslogs, guys, and this can be a way to research your heroes, and especially then at the start of every map as well. Like I said, hop on. I highly recommend you have this on a second monitor, or simply have it open and then Alt-Tab out to it. Have it set to your thing. So, for example, I'd have it set to Master, and then whenever I get a map, okay, I'm on Towers of Doom this time, I'll open Towers of Doom, I'll just take a quick crash course and say, okay, yada yada, this is, these are really big changes, they're really small wins. So I'd say, whatever, that's kind of bad, let's knock it back to a month. And then here it kind of insights into the heroes that are performing well in this particular map. And then this obviously ties into my own personal knowledge of the game, which is presumably and hopefully quite broad, and I can apply this and work it out. But it's a good just quick overview into what's going to be effective, and then I then know from my own understanding how to apply this. But certainly this is a great starting point, which, like I said, it's updated constantly, and it's perfectly tailored to your skill level and to the map as well. I know people have been asking me this stuff all the time. Here you go. Awesome. Great place to start. Great place to see matchups, to see duos, to see wins by map, and you can fit it to your particular level of play.
Alright guys, well that is the 5 tips for drafting. I hope you found that helpful. I think it should be helpful. There's a lot of information in there that you can...
Alright. I actually did find that pretty helpful. So I'm going to try queuing up for a game or two here. So I'm going to launch Heroes of the Storm and switch over to my heroes scene here. Give me just a minute to get the game launched. Alright. Again, Otis, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Let's get some music going.
That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, that's why we getting high tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why we getting high tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah.
Gonna play a game of unranked here. Again, gonna practice my stutter stepping. Gonna practice my map awareness. I'm also gonna work on just playing different healers or different heroes besides specialists as well. Alright, I'm 4th down there. Let's do a new, well, let's see. We want stats.
You can live to 100, you could die tonight. That's why we getting high tonight. Yeah, that's why I let my man drive tonight. Yeah, it's a violent
Holy shnikes.
Hey, what's up, Joseph? Thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Alright, let's try for... Of course. Raynor got banned there. Let's try for a... Rhaegar. Let's do a Rhaegar. Oh, we got Tyrande. Let's do Li Ming then. We'll do a Li Ming. See, we're playing on Blackheart's Bay. guy. Let's see what heroes have had a lot of luck on this map. Let's do ambusher. Come on. So apparently nobody's tanking, so let me try Artanis. Let's see, Artanis. He's done okay on this map. Looks like a noob does really good on this map. Let's do a noob. Who else does good on this map tank wise? The Oric does pretty well. Looks like a noob's the next best one. Alright, so let's do a noob. Alright, let me go say hi to the wife real quick. She just got home. Let this draft finish up and I'll be right back. What?
What the fuck?
Did you bleed on it?
Huh?
What's wrong? Alright, guys. Whew. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, sorry. So, again, I'm going to be practicing some stutter stepping. I got to get that down. I got to get used to my new key bindings. I changed those up. I'm using the cast on release. And just practicing with heroes other than specialists. I love playing specialists. That's what I gravitate towards, but I'm trying to get better at ranked. And to do that, I have to widen my pool of heroes that I'm good with. Alright. Let's see, what's a good build for a noob? Come on, website. Alright, looks like regeneration, but resilient scarabs are another one. Oh Jesus, I'm melting. I'm melting. Ugh. My bad.
Pull back for now, only to strike again. No light for me.
Word is there's treasure on the dock. Be quick and grab it. No light for me.
Yeah. Gotcha, bitch.
Do not abandon our allies.
Choose a talent. Run, boys. Let's liven up this place.
Let's see. Next talent is Legion of Beetles. About that, bitch. Oh, fuck. Nope. Get out. Alright. Let's see. Next ability, I need to take Leeching Scarabs. Oh, dumbass shit. Mana. I need mana. Mana. Leeching Scarab, I need to take Locust after that, that's the next one, and then Eradicating Spikes. Oh, go fuck yourself, Gul'dan.
You know what? Treasure for everybody, but mostly for me.
Dumbass, I knew he was gonna fucking do that. I need mana. Alright. Ah, motherfucker. You had to die right as I was diving in. Gotcha, bitch. I should have stutter stepped him. That was dumb of me. Oh, for fuck's sake. Really? Fine, fine, fine.
Huh? They're all paid up? Bah, who cares? Let's get to the fun part. We conquered. One less fort.
Not doing too bad, not doing too bad. Just need to keep this up. Heal me, Beatles, heal me. Oh, nice. Thanks, man. Shit. They're turning quick. Nice job on the vision. I think my problem there was I went in too deep. I didn't stay back far enough for my healer to get to me. Keep poking them, guys. Keep poking them. Oh shit, no. Nice. Get him. Get him. Stutter step, stutter step. You're not stutter stepping. see, next one is spikes. There we go. That's a little better. Gotcha. Oh, bitch. I like the cast on release ability. That's making it pretty damn nice. Stay the fuck out of my area. This is my site. Ah, fuck that ability. Fuck that ability right in the butt. Nice! Set him up for a fucking triple kill! Woo! Get him. Nice! Quad kill! Get that motherfucker. Oh. Let's see. Next one, next highest ability that's one is. Damn. Spell power is reduced by 50%. That's what I thought, bitch. You better run. You better run. 1, 2, a noob's coming for you. 3, 4.
Looks like your foe beat you to it.
Damn.
This be a lesson to ya.
They're gonna be heading this way. Wait for it. Wait for it. Gotcha. Nice. Nice. Those quick casts, I'm getting better at aiming. Ah, that fucker. That's alright. That's alright. Still gonna win. Still gonna win. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. So of course I died the most out of everyone, but Looks like I at least kept him off the rest of the team. Yeah, Asmund did a good job. Both of them did a good job. No. Nice. Alright, let's do one more game here and then I need to head to bed.
We got a game right away, fuck yeah.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
What hero should I play, chat?
You streaming too?
Yeah.
There you go. That's funny. That's funny. What's yours, man?
I got banned, huh? I kinda wanna play Genji, so I'm not gonna hit him. I'll probably hit. I'm gonna just go safe and hit Garrosh. Show your picks, guys. I don't wanna ban your shit.
I'll play whatever, it don't matter.
Warhead. Of course they hit Genji, fucking fags. Hey, thanks for the follow, for sale.
I got you, man.
Makes it easier for me to go to your Twitch too.
I'll at least lurk while I'm playing.
I'll probably be banned soon, so don't expect me to be around too long.
Why is that?
No reason. No reason.
Well, that's always a good sign. Thanks for the follow, Exterminate. Appreciate it.
Holy
Thanks for the follow, Exterminate. Appreciate it.
My blades are yours.
Ready for action.
Needs me.
So we got tank, we got 2 assassins. I could play. Let's try some Lily. I haven't played Lily in forever. So we got Healing Brew, Cloud Serpent, Blinding Wind, Fast Feet, Jug 1000, Water Dragon. Liz, I want my money back. Let's see, what are good builds for Lily? I haven't played her in forever, but I need to start widening my hero pool for ranked. Deckard is one of my good healers right now.
Rhaegar? You guys think so? Or Malf?
Probably Mal.
I could shit Malf.
Fuck that Enervate.
Yeah, because I don't want Lee Ming to get all mana happy.
Alright. Alright, so it looks like a good build for Lily right now, according to win percents on Hot Slogs, is Wind Serpent at level 1. Level 4 is Serpent Sidekick. Level 7 is Lightning Serpent. Level 10, Water Dragon. Level 13, 1%, 55.4% of the time is Gale Force. Level 16, Blessings of Yalan. 60.5% win if you get up to that point. Yeah, I'm definitely doing some leaming. Let's change my loadout here. I like that. Let's have her ride the fucking rocket. Chinese flag and some LGBT positivity stuff. Alright, level 20. Level 20, they're pretty much all the same except for another percentage or two chance of winning is 67.5 and 67.7. Double Dragon or Mistweaver. Let's see, after hitting a target Water Dragon, another Water Dragon is summoned at the point of impact. Or activate to heal nearby allied heroes for 172 basic attacks and Cloud Serpent attacks. Reduce the cooldown of Mistweaver by 1 second. Oh shit. That's pretty nice. I'll probably give that one a try. I honestly have not played Lily since her
Wait, I'm the only tank? What's
slight
going
rework.
on? Sonya's not a tank, by the way. Bruiser. What the fuck? Oh no.
Oh, she's a total tank. They have Murden. We got this.
Murden at level 14 though, so maybe it's the same thing. Experienced Bruiser versus a shit tank.
At this level, I don't think it really matters.
You got this. I have faith. I will heal the shit out of you.
With all this damage, we could probably make do without one, honestly.
Let's do this.
So, it says you.
Alright, so like I said before, hot slogs win percent wise for all maps across all of Heroes of the Storm. It says Wind Serpent at level 1 is a 53.9% win percent right now. That is funny.
See how it is, you use Force Sales Twitch.
I just blew your eardrums too playing that. That's hilarious. That probably woke you up. That's funny. Alright, let's fuck some shit up with Lily. Boop. No! Don't hit my friends! What? No! What are you doing? That must have been a misclick.
Play it to you, dog.
Oh no! Oh no! Fuck! I tried to body block, man. I tried.
Then I made
I
a
tried.
mistake.
Fuck you. Trying to work on my stutter step. I suck at stutter stepping. She's right there. Oh fuck. I can't believe I made that out. Woo! Woo! That was close.
Holy shnikes.
Alright. Level 4. 53.6% winning chance, Serpent Sidekick. Fuck you, Li Ming. Fuck you. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, fuck. Fuck. We need like a rotation top or something. Fuck, man. That Nova's gonna be a problem. Get back, get back, get back, get back, get back. What are you doing? No, no, no. No! You're gonna get me killed and that's gonna piss me off. Ah! Skulls, skulls, skulls. I need mana though. Mana, mana, mana. Come on, mana. Come on. Come on. Alright. Damn. Get him. Get that ass. Get that ass. Nice. Nice. Ah. Ah. Ah.
We need to group up.
Yes, yes we do. Make sure you guys are using pings. Fuck, come on, Lily, where the fuck you going? There we go. Now let's fuck shit up. Or get fucked up, maybe. Ah! No! Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh fuck, oh fuck. Damn! Ah, motherfuckers. Motherfuckers.
I'll blow throw it out your ass.
I was hoping you'd do that.
Nice job, guys. Come on, back.
Much obliged.
Oh, fuck. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Watch out, Nova's right there. Fuck, man. Oh shit, oh shit.
My wounds close.
Fuck. No! Fuck. That fucking Nova, man. Yeah, focus her ass. Alright, do we need more healing or more damage?
Definitely more damage. Our radar has slowed down for some reason. We also need to be grouped up more. Oh my god.
Ah, damn. Fuck my life. Ugh.
Ah, what? The fucking blink.
You gotta group before we go down there.
Do you hear that clattering? You're so there.
Why not stand on point? Oh my god. Alright, let's see, level 13, Gale Force. Watch out, Li Ming right there. Or, sorry, Nova. God damn.
My wounds close.
I'm not even drunk. I'm coming. Nice.
My bad.
Fuck, man.
We gotta group up, we're all lost.
Alright.
Yeah, you guys shouldn't be chasing down there. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm just grabbing vision. Jesus Christ. When the hell did they make Lily so squishy?
They're everywhere, dude. They're crawling.
They have vision right there. Right there's vision. They can see everything you're doing. Damn.
Let's just defend against their golem or it's gonna be GG.
You just need to defend in general. Just stop chasing. Keep trying to fucking chase. Even I killed me with it.
Choose attack. Your core is under attack, heroes. Your core is under attack, heroes. My wounds close.
Fuck, get back, get back, get back. Not much you can do with Nova running around out there.
Hurry, the enemy is attacking your core.
Come on. Nice, holy shit.
This is
damn. That Nova was pretty damn good, and our whole team was squishy as hell. It wasn't the best game, but it was a nice refresher on Lily. I haven't played her in a long time. Like I said, I'm trying to broaden my horizons on what heroes I play. I need to have a nice pool of heroes, assassins, tanks, and specialists ready to roll. That way I can fill any role that needs to be filled. I'm a spec main, but I'm trying to get better so I can at least get up to diamond or platinum. I keep floating right around gold 5, silver 1, gold 4, right between those 3 levels. I keep just floating back and forth, and it's really annoying. So I'm working on a couple different things, including stutter stepping. I've redid my keys. I use the cast on release now, as well as shoot, there was something else. Oh, changing key bindings around. So alright, that is the last game I'm going to do on that. I'm going to play a couple YouTube tips and tricks videos while I work on activating a couple of my Steam games. So let me exit out of here, switch it back over to this. Come on. There we go. Let's mute this music here. Alright. This is a tips and tricks video for a few tips that'll help you climb the ladder in Heroes of the Storm. So let's listen, see what tips they have.
This is probably my first guide to Heroes of the Storm. And what it's going to be focusing on is how to climb the MMR hell, the ladder itself. So there's a couple of tips on basically getting yourselves up the ranks. Obviously skill dependent. This isn't going to help someone who hasn't got any clue how to play the game, but it will help people that feel they're struggling with some minor points and hopefully get them up the ranks. So I see a lot of people, first of all, this has come up on Reddit a lot, this has come up on various, Heroes of the Storm communities. They straight away worry about losing the draft, and basically what they mean by I lost the draft is my teammates, 2 of my teammates didn't pick the heroes I wanted them to pick. So yeah, it's not a good mindset to be in. So
sorry guys.
First tip to climbing.
Not trying to cover up the video here.
Stay positive. Now everybody says just stay positive and you'll win. It's about attitude. That's not what I mean by stay positive. I don't mean if some guy is running into towers to go, yeah, you know what guys, we can still win this, yeah? Maybe you can win this, but what I mean by stay positive is if your team has a massive meltdown, don't start flaming each other, yeah? If you make a mistake, hold your hands up, say, sorry guys, made a mistake, we can still recover, or instead of going, oh my god, that team fight was shit, what the fuck do you think you're doing, blah 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 blah. Say something like, oh, maybe next time we can do this, yeah? Don't preemptively GG, even if you're winning. I've seen that tilt so many people. They're so far ahead, so they're just like, GG, and then the game starts turning, and then people implode and have a meltdown and definitely lose. Heroes of the Storm is a very, very swingy game. You need to get used to that. Another thing to bear in mind about being positive is even the best players in the world are still going to have 40 to 50% of their games as losses. If you lose, make sure you learn something from it, move on, re-queue again. If the game makes you that angry that you can't physically play this without, you know, imploding on yourself, getting angry, frustrated, this might not be the game for you. There's something to think about. Or maybe you just need a 5-minute break every hour from the game or something. You know, go refresh, go outside, get some fresh air. A great man once said something about the dick sucking theory. That was a guy named Sky Williams, fantastic League of Legends YouTuber and just general great guy. Basically, if someone does well, they want their dick sucked. FYI. So if someone does a good job at something, make sure you say in chat about what a good job it was. If that team fight went really well, point out someone's awesome ultimate, point out someone's awesome positioning. Just let them know they've done a good job, and it'll inspire positivity, which gets me back to the main point, and hopefully, you know, lead them to some victory. If someone messes up again, next time, let's try something different, okay? And let's go with that. That's about staying positive. Again, it's going to be hard not to flame sometimes. I get that, but I've never seen a game won where the whole team implodes on each other and everyone tries to troll and blah 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 blah.
Very true.
Move on to, and again, this
Very
might
true.
be obvious, but I don't see a lot of people doing it, which is basically pick a hero, learn it to death, and try to play it each and every game. Now, I know that's not going to be possible, but my suggestions are you pick something that's in meta, something that works, you know, fairly well with most compositions, and something that isn't going to be instantly picked or banned. There's no point right now in going, I'm going to learn Ragnaros. Ragnaros is going to be my main hero. You know, I'm going to play Ragnaros as much as possible, because 90% of the games I'm in, Rag is either picked or banned first. And unless you're first pick, and unless he doesn't get banned, you're not going to get a chance to play him. What I suggest is a tank or a support, something along the lines of, well, for me it's Zarya. Fantastic, fits well in most comps, in meta, you know, good build to learn. I've never seen her banned, and 98% of the Hero League games I've played in the past 2 weeks, I get to pick her without fail every game. Something like Diablo, Marudin, Malfurion, you know, you might get away with like a Sylvanas or something like that if that's down your line. Obviously, don't pick them if it doesn't work in your team comp. Pick something that you're fairly good at. So I would try and pick one hero that you can constantly play, but if not, maybe have 2 or 3 that you want to learn. Read the strategy guides, read the build, and play well with them. Just learn them inside and out, and that will get you, you know, that will make you climb. Obviously, you're going to be a bit of a one-trick pony when you get up there if you're forced to play, you know, something you don't usually play. Say you normally play Zarya like I do, and then all of a sudden the best pick for your team is, you know, Rhaegar. You've never played Rhaegar before. Oh shit. But by then, you should be high enough to learn sort of game mechanics as you're playing this one hero, because what it does is it takes your focus away from, you know, trying to play your hero, because you know it inside and out. It becomes muscle memory. You know exactly how far that Q goes. You know exactly how long that E stuns for. You know how deep you can go with the hero without getting killed. You know where your safety net is. And then all of a sudden, instead of like focusing on that sort of thing, you're now focusing on positioning. You're now focusing on, wow, the enemy team used their cooldowns there. That means that I can do this. You know, you start learning the mechanics of the game rather than focusing on the hero, and then you start getting better, and eventually you will notice your play with most heroes will get better. Obviously it requires a little bit of learning, but once you learn the core game mechanics, you can be fairly competent with most heroes. Lastly, with your hero, make sure you pick something that's fun. Yes, I get it, there's a tier list. Yes, you want to pick the OP flavour of the month to learn, but it's not just about that. You need to enjoy the character that you're playing as well. Some people like playing a frontline big monster like Diablo. Some people find the idea of being a tank the most boring thing on earth, and they'd rather heal. Pick something that's fun, pick something that's in meta, pick something that you're going to get to play. Yeah, there's no point picking Ragnaros. That's just the way it goes. You might get away with a few games, but in terms of actual practice, probably not. Third little tip then, let your teammates know what you're planning to do. So a lot of times I see people just sort of, you know, they'll do their ult, and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, you guys are so bad. Why didn't you follow up on my ult?" Especially with someone like Zarya, who's, you know, I usually go gravitational, which means that you know it needs to gravitation surge. It needs to be followed up by your team. So if they're not focused on what you're doing and what you plan to do, then how do they know to follow up? Like there, we had no idea Tyrande was going to use a Shadow Stalk. We tried to sort of backwards engage. I sort of fired my ult there to engage. The way to do that is literally alt-click. You alt-click your ability. That gives your teammates the knowledge that A, your ultimate is available, and B, that you intend to use it. Yeah? Makes sense. But, you know, most people don't follow that. I don't see a lot of people alt-clicking their abilities, especially like when you get your ultimate. It's always nice to alt-click it just so people know what your plan is, essentially. Because, you know, some people might not check your talents. You might know what, you know, not know what ultimate someone has gotten before the first team fight. And that knowledge in that first team fight, especially when you first turn 10, can really turn the tide of battle.
Oh, sorry guys.
Another thing to do is obviously ping the map, let teammates know where you intend to be, where you intend to go, what you intend to do. So obviously when you intend to clear a lane, you know, ping
Night, Drew.
that you're on the
See
way.
you tomorrow, man.
When you intend to take a camp or would like help, ping the assist. Simple. Not a lot of people use pings in an informative way. Most people use it as a trolly or aggressive, as in ping, 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 what the hell are you doing? Ping, 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 ping. Yeah, doesn't help anyone. Doesn't get the information across whatsoever. Next tip, again, fairly obvious to some, maybe not to others. The siege camps, the objectives on the map, are very, very powerful tools if they're left unchecked. So if you've got a camp pushing top that is left unchecked for 3 to 4 minutes, that will push the lane. That will genuinely get you a keep if you can keep that unguarded. Most people just get the camps.
Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I only have one person watching, and it's lowering my average viewer count here. I'm trying to make it up to affiliate status, and you can't do that if my viewer count keeps going down. So, you guys have a good evening. I'll be on tomorrow evening for a bit.